Today is a massive day in the e-commerce world. A lot of dropshippers are going to be affected by this. A lot of small businesses in the United States are going to be affected by this. Officially, the de minimis exemption is gone, meaning everybody has to pay tariffs, no exemptions. So in today's video, we're going to highlight all of the things you need to know, some extra information, as well as some things that you can do if you were planning to start a dropshipping business. I want to answer every single one of your questions in this video, hopefully. And the first thing I want to say is do not panic. There are a lot of solutions, actually, some that are already in place that a lot of the people that I talk to, that I know, people in our community, our clients, our software clients, our stores, that we're all doing in order to combat this. So don't worry, just buckle in, stay till the end of the video, and we'll get through all of it. Now, this is the official fact sheet from the White House, and this is through. So today was the official day that this is going to be effective, right? So this was from July 30th, but today is the day that it goes into effect. Now, we have no idea what this is going to mean for the future in the next few months, right? For e-commerce brands. I know for sure it's going to mean that a lot of brands are going to bleed a lot of margins, but this doesn't mean that dropshipping is over, and I'll explain exactly why. But the first thing that you need to know, one of the things that you need to do right now if you're a brand, is make sure that you're on top of your customer service more than ever. And the reason why is because in this video that I'm about to show you here, this girl, her name is Lisa Remillard. She's really good. This is her profile. She talks a little bit about this, but basically some packages may be lost, delayed, stuff like that. So people are going to be very mad, and some of those things could be totally out of your control. So you should download Smart Reply. Smart Reply is an AI software that will handle all of your customer service 24/7 right away. And if you know anything about sales, for example, speed to lead is a thing, meaning the quicker you get to your lead, the faster that they'll convert or the happier they'll be, right? It's the same thing with customer service. The faster you can answer all of your comments in all of your emails, which Smart Reply can also do, the happier your customers are going to be, and the less likelihood that they'll want to refund stuff from their orders, which actually can completely wreck an e-commerce business. But let's watch this super quick so you can understand more, and then I'll show you some awesome solutions too.
Before you order anything,
So, there's
coming from, because starting tomorrow, the price to get that thing to you is going up. Or you may not get it at all because your order may be canceled. Starting tomorrow, President Trump's plan to fully remove the de minimis exemption.
And tomorrow means today, of course.
Takes effect. And because of that, and because of the confusion around this policy, some European and Asian postal agencies have started to pause or cut off shipments to the United States altogether. So here's what's
crazy.
going on. I reported way back in April that President Trump signed an executive order to eliminate the de minimis exemption. That exemption has been around in some form since the 1930s.
Since the 1930s. Pretty crazy.
Most recently, the law says imports that have a value of less than $800 can be exempt from certain duties, fees, taxes, and tariffs. Why? Well, the logic is if Customs and Border Protection is having to go through your silly little $50 Shein order to try and collect a tariff on that, they're taking time and resources away from monitoring what's coming into this country on those huge cargo ships and included in those huge...
So basically, it's not worth their time. And that's actually another point that I want to make super quick. This de minimis rule is not at all targeted at drop shippers, right? Like, if you thought that, Trump is out to get drop shippers right now, you think drop shipping is way bigger than it really is. This is targeted more at criminal activity, drug imports and things of that nature, which a lot of countries have been using in order to carry on illegal activity in the U.S.
Huge containers. So,
of course, don't get me wrong, Temu, all those countries, they do affect small businesses as well too. So this definitely is targeted at them as well. But that's not the main, national security concern.
For the last decade, the U.S. government has said if the value of the imported package is less than $800, it is not worth our time. Just let that package go to whoever ordered it. And we all know, because of this de minimis exemption, lots of small businesses and everyday Americans have been able to benefit by getting cheaper products from overseas. The president removed the de minimis exemption from imports coming into this country from China and Hong Kong back in May. And by June, Customs and Border Protection was adding a tariff of either 120% of the declared value of those imports or a flat fee of $200 per item. Well,
Yes.
as of tomorrow, that is extending to all
So this is it.
imports from all countries.
So we can leave it here, but basically this is the big thing. She actually touched on it, which is great. A lot of suppliers from China had already been doing this. So that's my sigh of relief that I want to give you for some of our stores and some of the stores in the Shopee Lab Accelerator. I'm not trying to shill this. I'm only mentioning this because we have a lot of members in here that have big numbers. I don't want to say a lot. There's really like 10 people that are doing 20 to 30K a day in the community, maybe even a little bit less. And they've already been dealing with this, right? And myself too. We've already been getting quotes that are higher than before, right? Because of course they have to declare the value of the good and pay tariffs on it. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to Chinese goods, the good news is a lot of them are already pretty cheap, right? And the declared value is not going to be so high, especially it depends on the kind of brand you run, right? If you're running, let's say, an Amazon business or an e-commerce store, a brick and mortar store where your margins are like 10% and you're only really trying to undercut your competitors, things like that. You're kind of trying to be the lowest price option, then yeah, this is going to really wreck you. But if you're building a brand where people, of course people care about price, but people are mostly shopping on your brand because you're really solving their specific problem or they like your branding, your marketing really appeals to them as a, core desire that they maybe have, then those people are not as price sensitive, right? So they're not shopping on your store because you have the lowest price. So that's where this is not the end of the world. It will not affect so much those brands that are very quick and nimble, that are, building great brand images, brand personas. And it will affect a lot of people. Don't get me wrong. I guess maybe I am minimizing it a little bit. I think it's going to be really bad for a lot of brands. But to be honest, I think some of the least affected brands is going to be branded dropshipping stores, right? Because you can just test more products. I mean, it sucks to say it, but I have an example here, right? Like $15 for this, really high perceived value massage gun. That's pretty cheap, right? Like that's super, super cheap. Some people sell these kinds of things for $145, and it's because they have this brand, right, that they build around it. So somebody that really resonates with detoxes and things like that, they'll see this and think, oh, well, this is for me. So, and they're not necessarily browsing for this, right, online. So that's one way that you can think about this and not get too nervous about the future of e-commerce for your branded dropshipping store. Now, the next thing that you should do actually too is build relationships with U.S. suppliers. I think that's the most obvious non-talked about thing that people can do. If you still wanted to do a dropshipping store, and I mentioned dropshipping because it's super popular, but by the way, guys, you don't need a dropshipping store to build an e-commerce business. At our agency and some of the software clients that we have, there are multi 7, 8, and even 9-figure e-commerce brands that don't dropship. So you can build a big business without dropshipping. Of course, there's a bigger risk because you have to order inventory, but you don't have to order a ton of units, right? No one's forcing you to order a lot of units. You could just start your business slow and steady. It just all depends on what you want, right? But one solution is Supplyful, and they're not paying me to say this or anything. I just genuinely think it's a great service idea. It is a little expensive, if I'm being honest, per unit, right? But they make up for it by just making it so easy to launch a supplement store. So all of these are based on U.S. suppliers. So let's say this NAD, this is a U.S. supplier that they have, and it ships to everywhere in the world. So that's a super, super cool alternative that you can use. If you're building a brand, you can easily just use products that are based in the U.S. Another idea that I want to give you in regards to that is use Etsy. A lot of Etsy sellers build things in the U.S., right? Like they're building their own products, they're creating their own products, and you can actually build relationships with them. So right now, it's the time of building alliances, okay? It's always in these times of turmoil smart to have alliances with people, right? So build alliances with suppliers in the US, with manufacturers in the US, with communities, right? Join the accelerator, the Shopee Lab Accelerator, if you want to be a part of our alliance, right? I mean, yeah, it's a great community, so I'm going to talk about it. I just absolutely love the people in there, and we've had new members reaching $1 million months. It's unbelievable. And I'm also looking for investment opportunities within the community. So I want to invest in your brand. I'm trying to make more partnerships during this time. And we even have a partner program at our agency, Ecommerce, where we're giving out grants for people that are willing to operate e-com stores. So if that's you, reach out to me via DMs. Also, we help with a variety of things, even AI systems. Like we can implement smart reply for your brand so that you don't have to train it, you don't have to fine tune it, even though it's not that hard. But some bigger brands, right, like some of the 9-figure clients that we've had use smart reply, they actually really like that human oversight and they're willing to pay for it. They want it to be very reliable. They want it to be, brand safe, and it's very important for bigger brands to be brand safe. So yeah, that's kind of it, though. I mean, I kind of covered everything that I needed to cover. I wanted to simplify it. Obviously, there's so many words in here and things that you can read about yourself. I'll link some of this in the description, the official fact sheet. But ultimately, what you need to know is yes, if you're drop shipping now, you still are going to have to pay tariffs if you weren't already, which a lot of brands already were. How can you fight that? Increase your profit margins by increasing your prices, making better offers, add more products to your offers, right? Create bundles. That's one of the things you can do that you see on TikTok Shop working so well is some of the brands that are on the top, they're doing a lot of bundling actually and getting higher average order values because of it. You can see, for example, Dr. Malaxin, their newest bestseller or their second bestseller now, it's this bundle. So instead of getting one thing for $40, they're selling all these things for like 89, right? So this is such a good idea to do for your store. It's just bundle things together and sell them at a higher price so that you can justify a higher tariff bill now that you have. Again, just to summarize too, you can build relationships with US suppliers. And actually I didn't mention one last solution. Localized stores. So run stores in different markets, right? You don't have to do US stores. I mean, obviously I'm a proponent for it. I live in the US. I'm a US citizen. So I want the US economy to thrive, but a lot of you guys follow me from so many different countries. So you don't have to start a store in the US. In fact, there are other economies that are growing very quickly with a lot of impulse buy potential and just in general consumer, like a lot of consumer behavior that's similar to the US, at least in some form, that you can capitalize on. Let's say Germany, right? Germany, this isn't affecting Germany. There's no tariffs between China and Germany, at least as far as I know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I could be misspeaking, but I don't think there are. You can correct me in the comments, but ultimately you can use smaller markets. I mean, yeah, maybe there's less people in Germany, but you can still build, an 8-figure brand there. There's no reason you can't. Even in Switzerland, one of the accelerator members told me, because, I onboard every member myself. Like I get on a call with you. And on our call, we had a great conversation about investing and things like that because he was super interested in that too. But he told me he actually works at a startup that, I'm not going to mention it for privacy. Actually, he didn't even tell me, but I'm not going to tell you what they suck. I don't know. But anyways, in Switzerland, that does 9 figures a year in just Switzerland. And I was like, what? That's crazy. So the Swiss market is so much bigger than I thought. So that's another thing you can do. But yeah, a lot of interesting stuff in this video. Lastly, of course, make sure you start your Shopify store for $1 a month if you haven't already. If you've been thinking about it, don't use this as an excuse to not start your business. I'm telling you, if you start your business in the hardest of moments, when things are super easy again, man, you're going to be in a great position, right? And still, another thing you can do, sorry, I know I'm going off on a lot of tangents, but I'm like thinking of things as I'm going. Another thing is, yeah, you could reduce expenses. That's an obvious one, right? To increase your margins. If you're getting tax bills now or tariff bills now, just reduce your expenses as much as possible. That's, again, where Smart Reply can come in super clutch. Or my agency, too. My agency team is incredible, and it's a lot less expensive than a full-time hire, right? That's another thing you can do. Also, maybe reduce your ad spend if you have to, and maybe just post more organically, right? Organic marketing is huge. That's what's driving a lot of TikTok Shop growth for a lot of brands. But of course, ads are too. Maybe exploring a different ad platform like TikTok is a good idea too. TikTok is growing like crazy as a platform overall, so there's definitely cheaper ad space in there still relative to Meta, for example. But Meta is still better, even though TikTok can be amazing. So all of these things are solutions and more. If you want to talk to me more about these, join our accelerator. We also have a free Discord in there, but we need to work on that. And then there's also one last thing I wanted to share with you. I am doing a newsletter for Shopee Lab. So I'm going to just basically be giving written alpha in there, written news, trends, things that we're spotting across all of the research. That's kind of my thing, right? I'm trying to be the data guy. It sounds a little bit cringe when I say it like that, but I just have so much access to data, and I feel like I'm good at piecing it together and helping people through it, right? Helping you guys win and investing in you guys. And that's how I win. So hopefully this was entertaining and educational for you. And let me know some of the things that you want to say, right? What are your opinions on this? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think this is good? Do you think this is bad? Is this affecting you? Do you know anybody affected by this? And yeah, that's pretty much it. Peace.